everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon stream, your first Pokemon stream, whatever it is. Hello, welcome on in, and welcome to absolute madness and chaos. I think stream crashed after like a minute. We are doing so good. Guys, welcome to my birthday stream. It's not my birthday is on Sunday, but I don't stream on Sunday, so welcome to my birthday stream. We're doing it today. Savage, well, hello. It did crash, yeah. So, fingers crossed that it doesn't crash again, because I really can't have that. I have so many things open on my computer that I think it's nearly impossible for it to not crash. So like, it was like the shortest time. Yeah, like didn't even pass the loading screen. Didn't even pass the first minute. Yeah, I have 2 tabs plus OBS plus Discord and voice mod on this screen, and then I have 4 tabs on the other screen, which might including a drawing program as well, so that technically makes 5. So we are doing so good with all the tabs today, but I think I have improved on my 2nd year anniversary Twitch stream where we did the trivia night as well. So I think I might have improved on it a little bit. I made a little bit of a few changes. So hopefully this goes well, and I will be looking in every single direction today. So yeah, voice mod, yes, thank you for that again, Savage. So yeah, we still works. Yeah, it does. I tested it like 15 minutes before stream. Okay, no, it was more like 30 because then I had dinner. So like 30 minutes before stream, I tested it and it appeared to have worked. So I am hoping that it still does. So yeah. Also, I bled today. I have a boo-boo on my finger. I bled. So yeah, shocking, but yes, it still somehow works. I just clicked a button and poof, it was there. So we're doing decent, I think. We're doing okay. Yeah, yesterday was absolute chaos. I did not prepare anything for stream yesterday. Low on blood as well, kept getting better. Yeah, tell me about it. I only bled a little bit though. Like it only dripped a little bit down my finger. I'm always surprised when it's like the tiniest cuts that are the ones that like bleed the most. So is this? Oh, hold on. There, that's out of screen. And now you guys can wonder what the hell that little black spot on screen was. All right, we are doing good. We are doing very good. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about today's stream. I'm a little bit nervous of how it's gonna go, because when I say improvements, I mean potential improvements. I hope they're considered improvements. You might not consider them improvements though, but I consider them improvements, so I'm calling them improvements because it's easier for me to manage, so I'm calling them improvements. But yeah, I don't know about how the look or how it's gonna function while I'm live. I did do a test run. Hope it's okay. But yeah, tiny cuts you barely notice, but they will make you notice them when you. No upload tiny cuts from working with paper. I don't know if you can see, wait. Oh god, do you see this? I was pushing boxes at work and somehow I cut myself like that. Like I don't fully understand how that happened because I was pushing boxes. So they were heavy though. I got some leg exercise in today. We kind of know what the black spot on stream can, right? Yeah, you might kind of know if you bother to look at the rewards, and if you don't know, then you might find out in a little bit. So yeah, that makes yourself out this much. Dude, like you don't understand. Like, okay. We placed like 3 orders at work. We placed 1 order at the start of the month. another order about a week ago, and then another order about like 2 days after the second order. And for some reason, all 3 of the orders showed up today at the exact same time because they were coming with the same transport company. So instead of getting 4 boxes and then 6 boxes and then 2 boxes, we got 12 boxes in one go. They were not small. But yeah, at least we got them. Typical, right? I mean, considering the order we placed a month ago, we had to actually chase after because the client was already asking where it was. Like, that was not fun, but yeah. Everything ended up okay, and that's what matters, except for the fact that I'm currently blurry, and I don't know if that's my glasses or me. I think that's both, actually. I am on glasses cleaning duty. They are dirty, actually. They are actually dirty. Okay, so with that said, guys, birthday stream today. We got 35 trivia questions to get through. And no, they are not the same as the ones from my second Twitchiversary stream. Because I made way too many for that Twitchiversary stream. I made 65 questions for that, and we only got through 30. So we got 35 left to go. Which was actually helpful that I didn't have to make more, because I didn't have time to make more. So I wouldn't have had the time to make more. So yeah. So today I made an interesting decision. I tried really hard to like Affinity Photo, but I switched over to Photoshop again. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't have Photoshop. I have this free program called Paint.net that does all the basic things, and it's free. So we like free. Yeah, I figured those were way too many dex entries. Yeah, I thought it would take like a minute each, and it ended up taking like 5 minutes each, which means we only got through like half of them. But yeah. Also, for some reason, I am currently very, very yellow. Hold on, let's see if I can fix that. Nope, that's more yellow. No, that's even more yellow. Okay, no, we're sticking with this yellow. We are sticking with this yellow. I think it's because the shirt is gray. Could it be that it's absorbing light? I don't know. I'm making stuff up at this point. This Photoshop, I just install, enter the universal serial, and it just works, no worries. So, yeah, I like the program I use. I've been using it for like 10 years now, and it's great. Arcane! Welcome on in! Finally, the 48-hour stream begins. Hell to the freaking no! I am going to the movies tomorrow to watch The Little Mermaid, and my birthday is on Sunday, so we're going out for dinner, so no. It's the version CS6 right before it went online mode. Yeah, I do like my program though. It does everything I need it to do. It's simple. I like it. I like it a lot. Symbia, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome on in. Oh no, not The Little Mermaid. Yes, The Little Mermaid. We're gonna go watch The Little Mermaid. I heard the CGI is kind of iffy. I'm gonna judge for myself. I love the music anyways. I'm excited to see Sebastian. I'm excited to see Sebastian. Only because the dude that played Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton is the same dude that's voicing Sebastian. So I'm very curious to see what Sebastian's gonna sound like. So I heard Ariel was really good, perfect scene. I mean, from the little pieces of music that we've heard so far, yeah, the singing sounds amazing. So I mean, you got a singer to play a Disney movie character, so like of course it's gonna be good because they're a singer. But yeah, I think it's funny that the crab species that they picked for Sebastian is one of the very few crab species that drowns. I'm just curious. I'm gonna go in fully expecting that the only good thing is gonna be like the movie. The only good thing of the movie is gonna be Ariel. CG Flounder and Crab are so badly done. I am reserving judgment, okay? Because Sonic did happen. Sonic looked awful, and then when the movie actually came out, it looked so much better. So I am reserving judgment until I see it. And I will make notes. Yeah, I think highlight should be Ariel. Yeah. So I am reserving judgment until I see it, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully they didn't change the song too much and we can sing along, because that's always fun. So I reviewed YouTube. I saw a review YouTube before stream. Still fresh in memory. I have not seen anything and I've avoided it. Yeah, we're doing so good, guys. We're doing so good. Okay. Shall we get started with today's stream? Well, technically the stream started 15 minutes ago, but shall we, and crashed, so more like almost 20 minutes ago. Anyway, shall we get started with today's trivia night? Shall we? Shall we? Because we got some questions. And I'll be honest, like, I haven't seen the Pokédex, the translated Pokédex entries in like 3 months now. Like, I have not seen them literally since the last trivia night stream. And I tried to guess a couple of them, and I actually did not guess a couple of them. So I think this is about to be interesting, because I made it and I still guessed wrong. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, like I am actually really nervous. I am so scared that things are just gonna break and I'm gonna dox myself. So fingers crossed that that doesn't happen, because that would be sad. Otasha? Otasha? Sweat and check? I'm wearing the same sweatpants as on Wednesday, guys. They are gray. I'm turning around. I'm turning around. They are gray. There, depending on the rewards, there will be much sweatpants to be seen today. Error connecting server. Same ones again? Yeah, same ones again, man. I couldn't be bothered. They're comfortable! They're comfortable! And also, I could wear my purple ones, but the purple ones don't really match with the gray of my shirt, so I was like, you know what? They match. It doesn't matter that I wore them the other day as well. Whatever. Let's just go with it. Also, server has been acting up a lot today for me. I played for once. Yeah, so Dad's been working on the server on like other departments of the server for the past couple of days. I do not actually know if that is influencing the game or not. And I have not had the time to check in with my dad on that, because he has been very, very busy today. And then by the time he wasn't busy, I was busy, so I have not had time to check up on that. So apologies if Hatchimon is not doing the absolute greatest today. Weird thing is it shows on the website. Yeah, but I think the website is less weight on the server. From as far as I understand, might be understanding wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Although it's down as well? No way. Oh, it is. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. I'm trying to write Dutch with an English keyboard. That's going well. Okay. He's gonna check. He's going to check. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I forgot to do something. Do I do it right now? I'm gonna do it right now. Guys, I'm gonna need y'all to just give me like a minute. I need Nightbot. Wait, I have Nightbot open on the other tab on the other screen. Hold, I need to find Nightbot. I found Nightbot. Okay, give me a second. Because I need to do something, because Dad did something. It doesn't look pretty, but he did something. So I need to go do something. Oh, wait. Nightbot's not doing things either. Yo, hold on. Because I can't get into Nightbot. Also, by the way, how's the volume of the music right now? Because it's okay in my ears, but I don't know how badly it is in like on stream. Oh, it's finally loading. Oh, that took forever to load. Holy crap. Okay. That really did take a really long time to load up. It's funny how the commands were working, but the Nightbot's site is really slow right now. Yeah, no, like it's really, really slow. Hello, let me sign in. Oké, bij mij wel test nog eens. Oké, hold on. Troubleshooting live on stream. Okay, the website should be working again. Servers say they're fine. I don't know why it was really slow. Website should be working again. Can someone test out the Hatchamon commands? That doesn't seem to be working still. Time's out. Yeah, okay. Leaderboard. We'll start the trivia night soon. Let me just do one thing, because of all the list of chores that we got to do, I forgot to do one thing. Where are my commands at? So please hold on, hold on. This one. Hold on. It's not done yet. Okay, my dad is saying that now it's not working, so he's gonna go check. Yeah, that's the thing I forgot to do, dude. I just said it's the thing I forgot to do. If it's the thing I forgot to do, it makes sense that it's the thing I forgot to do. Give me a second, I'm inputting things right now. Okay. I don't think I said leaderboard. Wait, why does it not let me do things? Okay. Hold on. Do not use commands right now, because if you do, I might mess things up. Please. Please don't do things. Did I say leaderboard? I did. Oh. I thought I was only saying it in my brain. I didn't think I was saying that out loud. I think I was saying other things out loud, but apparently I can't think things and speak different things at the same time. Yeah. Is that the right one? Okay, that should be the right one. Okay, fingers crossed that it works. Go at it. Have at it. Have at it. It should work. Provided that the commands actually work. We got 2 issues in one. Error connecting to remote server. I know, right? I made such a good command. Such a good command. Guys, we are doing so good. So good. Imagine if that was the actual responding to troll me. Nah. Nah. We're not trolling. We're not trolling. Yeah, it's just apparently things are iffy right now. So I don't know. Don't know. Yeah, give it a second and try again. I do not have the timer active, but yeah. You totally would that to me, that face. No, I actually was thinking like maybe I could make a command that's a troll command, but y'all don't know it's a troll command until you try to use that command. But I won't do that because that would just be mean. That would just be mean. So we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're being nice. We're being nice. So hopefully y'all be nice to me too and don't get the things that I don't want to get off this wheel, okay? There's 3 punishments on this wheel. Or more. Depends on what your view of a punishment is. Also be able to check if that was the response on the command page. Answer sets and verify like international backpack. Okay, so apparently it's an internet thing. My dad's keeping an eye out. I just had a mini heart attack on Infinite Fusion. Okay, Sass Queen! Hey, I'm just saying, things gonna happen, okay? Things gonna happen. I actually had an entirely different plan for the leaderboard command, like how to reintroduce the leaderboard command, but my dad didn't have time to finish it, because real life consequences would have happened if he took the time to finish my game, this little piece of the game. Yeah, we'd rather not have real life consequences. What's that supposed to mean? What's supposed to mean? What did I say? My memory is really bad today. Ah, forget it. I forgot it. You don't need to tell me to forget it, because I kind of already did. I finished up a level 5 Rayquaza, and it only knows takedown and kept hitting my rough skin Rocky Helmet Garchomp. Doesn't takedown deal damage after you use it? So you got damage on top of the Rocky Helmet damage. Woo! That sounds like a bad plan. That does not sound like a good plan, no. No, not a good plan. Wait. Oh, guys, I told you stream was gonna go weird today, okay? I have an error message on my screen. I'm gonna click a button and hope that stream doesn't crash. I'm very confused. What the hell? I don't think the timer reset. So I don't think stream's dead. I think voice mod died. And then came back to life. We're doing good. So good. So good, guys. So good. Okay, well, before actual things start crashing, let's get this trivia night started. So we can hopefully get through something before things start malfunctioning. Before I start malfunctioning. Hell, we all know that's about to happen at some point. Because it's Friday. And for some reason I malfunction on Fridays. I don't know. I don't know the logic behind what I just said. Okay, people. Let me switch over to the trivia night screen. Oh, my stream is back. Welcome back. Okay. We're going fully crashed. Only on your end. The timer did not reset on my end, so I should still be good. I hope. My player fully crashed. And even site reload failed. Oh, that sounds so good. Is the internet just having issues in Europe right now? Did not stop here. I don't. Listen, I don't know what's going on anymore. Let's just get on with the trivia night, shall we? Because y'all are in for 35 questions of just plain weird. So I think it's because of that. All right, let's go. Ta-da! Tiny Tasha presents Pokemon Trivia Night. Also, I adapted the layout to the point system so that we can still keep the bingo board up top. It was gonna be something different, but it didn't get made on time, so yeah. Ooh, try the leaderboard, try the leaderboard. It seems to be working. I want to see it work. Ooh, okay. Palkia, that's a new one for you. Come on, please tell me I did it right. It's gonna time out. It's taking way too long. It's gonna time out. Ah! Give it some time to cook. Yeah, maybe. The music is on point though. By the way, can you hear the music? Okay. Or is it too overpowering? Or not overpowering enough? It's a bit low. Okay, how about now? Any difference? Like this? Is this good? Yeah, it's rudimentary. We don't need your tips. This was just a thing my dad made really quick so that we had the leaderboard back again. It is not looking pretty, but at least it's working. It no pretty, but it work. No, like for real though. I just wanted the leaderboard to just be back for my birthday stream today. So it doesn't look great, but at least it works, which is a lot. Okay? Just spitting out text, yeah, but it's really cool that it's got something again. Yay! Now you can see you're standing among each others. Amongst each other? Amongst each other. This is something we can work. Yeah, it's legible. You know? It's not perfect, but it's legible. Especially like, this is a competition! Whoever gets the most Pokemon first wins! There is no prize at the end, but you will be declared the winner. Alright now. So... We're gonna work... Nitty already won though. Right? No? Because that's not the final level. That's just the final level for now. There's 28 total. Or 29? Did we get to 30? I don't think we got to 30. We definitely passed 25. It's big. Okay, so the way this is gonna work is basically the same way as we did last time. So I'm gonna create a poll. Everyone can vote on what you think the right answer is. And we will take it from there, basically. So before we start that, let me present to you the prizes or punishments to be had. So we have a few different ones from the last time. We got some the same ones, we got some different ones, we got some prizes, we got some punishments, we got some just plain weird stuff. So your possible available rewards are: every single person gets 1 hour of double speed in Hatchimon. That is a prize for you. Prize number 2, you get to choose which Pokemon to shiny hunt next in Pokemon Scarlet Violet. So whatever Pokemon is not on my field that you want me to shiny hunt next, I will do that. I like the Pokemon theme in the fights. Yes, thank you. Oh, Symbia got a shiny Goldeen. You got a golden Goldeen. Your third prize is 1 bingo square gets checked off. Now, considering you only have 2 left, you can actually get double 1 hour of double speed. There will be 1 person. If all of this gets checked off tonight, there will be 1, and you get the reward for the double speed. There will be 1 person that will just simply get 2 hours of double speed. And that's a lot of time to play. Your fourth... Wait. Yes, because it's everyone gets an hour. And if this gets completed, then 1 random person gets an hour. So if they happen to coincide, 1 person can get both. So that's 2 hours of double speed instead of 1 hour of double speed. 'Cause math. Okay, our fourth reward is a punishment for me. I have to do push-ups. I don't want to do push-ups. Last time I tried to do push-ups, I did 3 poorly done push-ups. It was not a good time. I don't want that. No, thank you. Goodbye. Number 4 is also somewhat of a punishment. Although I do not have to do push-ups, therefore not test the non-existent arm strength in my body. This song being beepy boopy means it's louder. I'm just gonna... Okay, I put it a little bit down. Just a little bit. Maybe music sounds loud when I shoot. Maybe it's because it needs less to function. I don't know. Okay, so the 5th thing is a sort of punishment. I have to ride a bike for 10 minutes. And if you were wondering what the little black thing was that showed up over here on my screen when I was on full screen, yes, that was a bike. There's a bike. I have a bike. It's a standing bike. It's a bike, and it's right next to me. It is very imposing. It's a very large bike. And if this reward shows up, I'm gonna be riding that bike for 10 minutes. Like, actually pedaling. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. See how that turns up on stream. But you have great... Dude, these prosciutto legs ain't got nothing. Okay? They are prosciutto. Anyway. Our next punishment is just basically stopping everything and going to do a VGC match. I don't like VGC, so that's gonna be interesting as well. Our next reward slash punishment, because it is both. You guys get it as a reward, I get it as a punishment. Or vice versa, depends on how you feel about it. Is that I will give every single person in chat one compliment. So if you just make yourself known in chat, I will give you a compliment if that happens. Our 8th reward is the funniest thing that we did last time, where I use a voice changer for 5 minutes. Imagine if it was the other way. I would die. Okay, I already have 3 punishments on this. I'm not gonna add a 4th one. I would die, okay? No. But yeah. So our 8th reward is using a voice changer. Last time this was incredibly funny and super duper weird. So we'll see what kind of voice you guys choose this time if this happens. Our 9th reward is me just recoloring a shiny Pokemon in an attempt to make it look better. I will probably eventually make it look worse, so... yeah. And finally, our final reward is you guys watch me struggle while I try to draw a random Pokemon. Now, there is a rotating cycle of Pokemon drawings over in that corner of the screen. I made all of those. I can't draw and I'm using a mouse, so... doing good. From a line drawing start or doing lines for the recolor in the shiny. No, basically grabbing the Pokemon and then grabbing an actual picture of the Pokemon and then changing the color. Basically. Which, I mean, can only be a disastrous result. So at least, it will at least look like the Pokemon. It might just not look like the Pokemon. Yes. Just recoloring the thing. Okay? I basically, how this reward came to be is I watched a True Green video where he attempted to better shiny Pokemon. I was like, that sounds cool. I want to do that too. So that's where it is. There we go. That's basically it. That's the whole concept is I saw True Green do it and I thought it was fun and I want to do it too. So here we are. So these are your rewards. For every 5 correct answers, you get to spin the wheel. Now there's 35 questions, which means you have 7 chances of making me suffer. And the rewards will not get removed from the wheel. So... it could just be that at some point I ride a bike twice, or I have to do push-ups more than one time, or I have to draw multiple Pokemon, or give compliments. It can happen. So, yeah. With that said, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you hanging at the edge of your seat? Okay, let's get this show on the road. Where's my pole? I heard that! That's not what I meant. I heard nothing. But I did. B, C, D. So all questions are like last time, multiple choice. And trust me, from the first couple of ones that I actually attempted, they get weird. They get really weird. Google Translate got weird. Alrighty, so you'll have 1 minute every single time to vote on what you think your answer is. I am currently big. I don't know why I'm big right now, but I am big right now. I hope chat's gonna help because I'm not good enough for this. You guys will be fine, or not. Or not. Are you ready? The first trivia question is... Application lives in the sun. As April leaves Apple, her body loses water, weakening the Pokemon. Your answers could be Dolive, Panpour, Applin, and Sunflora. So with that said, get to voting. Get to voting, lovelies. I want to see which one you guys think is the right one for this massively Google translated Pokédex entry. I have not seen a lot of these. This is gonna be interesting for me as well, because I haven't seen a lot of these in quite some time. So, the first like 5 of them, I actually did run through today, so I kind of know the answers for those, but everything else I haven't seen the answers in a while. I'm voting C, there's too many app words. I tried to cheat with ChatGPT and it's not possible. Want to know what it told me? Yes, please. Please tell me what it told you. Like, I am not joking. When I say I put these Pokédex entries through Google Translate, like 20 times, I'm not joking. I'm sorry, but the statement you provided doesn't seem to make coherent sense. It appears to be a combination of unrelated elements and does not align with any known information about applications, the sun, April, apples, water loss, or the Pokédex entries. Beautiful. Beautiful. Stunning. All right, so C1, are you guys ready to see if it's the correct answer? It is. It is. You guys get a point! We confused ChatGPT. Yeah, you did. Now, the original Pokédex entry is actually, Applin lives inside an apple. When an Applin is separated from its apple, its body loses moisture and the Pokemon grows weak. Now, I don't know where the sun came in here. I don't know how Google Translate translated anything into sun, but they did. So... there you go. But it's true! I don't know how the sun came in. Oh, I can be smart about this. Hold on. Let me try to be smart here. Aha. This is not a... okay, this is not a command. Okay. Tasha Smart. I'm trying. Are you ready for your next question? I'm tripping. I did trip today like twice, but right now I'm sitting down, so no, I'm not. Okay, next question. Are you ready? This can be your second point. As soon as he realized this, he started to fight him. As soon as he realized this, he started to fight him. Stay angry until it destroys everything around you. Guys, who's that Pokemon? Get to voting. Get to voting, lovelies. This one I actually got wrong. When I re-looked at it today. This one I actually got wrong. I'm picking D. Okay, but we got a C, we got a D. How's this poll looking? Oh, fine, I'll follow. Okay, okay. Gotta win. Are you gonna win though? Even I got this one wrong and I made this. All right. Your votes are in. You chose D. The correct answer is B. No points for you. The Pokédex entry is as soon as once it appears, it goes on a rampage. It remains enraged until it demolishes everything around it. That is Gyarados' Pokédex entry. I don't know how Google Translate got this. I didn't even translate this one that much. I think this one only went like 10 times into Google Translate. So, I beat you. Now I get a point. Didn't you last time have the correct entries in the presentation as well? No, I didn't. I just have a Google Docs on the side that has the correct answers in it, so I can read it for you. Because if I were to put the correct answers into this, this would be, instead of like 160, 170 slides, this would be like 200 something slides. So, no. Try to keep it concise. So, no points for you. Yes, because like every question has a slide for its answer. So, if I have 65 questions, that means I have 170 answers. If I have 65 questions, I have 65 answers, which means I have 170 slides, plus the start and the finish. So, yeah, this is like 200 slides. I'm not even joking. I made like 200 slides for this. The slide with correct text could be with the one image. But I'm stalling. You're just salty that you didn't get a point, that I and Google Translate beat you on this one, huh? Let's see if you can guess the next one. Are you ready? Notice the sharpness of its head. It hides in bushes and feeds on leaves. I'll let you vote now. Who's that Pokemon, guys? This one should not be too hard. I think this one's pretty easy. All right. So you're thinking C. Okay. Why are you thinking C though? Also, there's a cattail over here. Alrighty, the poll is over. Cranidos is blunt, nothing sharp about shaming, and Ariados probably doesn't feed on leaves. You do realize that I did check every single Pokédex entry of every Pokemon that is in here to make sure that it was somewhat plausible of an answer. So, I put a lot of work into this, okay. Because the weekend hides. Okay, well, you voted C, and the correct answer is... It's right. I was just trolling you. But I did put a lot of work into this, and I did check every single Pokédex entry to make sure that it was, like, somewhat plausible. What? I gotta make this interesting somehow. You do get a second point, though. Be happy. You get a second point. You are now a point closer to spinning the wheel and seeing what the hell happens. Are you ready for the next question? I wish I could duplicate polls. That would be a lot better. A, B, C, D, 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 D. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Can you only duplicate predictions? No, I'm asking if there's a way to duplicate. Oh, you can do predict, but yeah, but predictions you can't put 4 options into predictions. Can you? I think predictions you can only use 2 options for them. Should I just try it before the next question? I could try it. Let's see. And if you can do it for predictions, you should be able to. In my mind. Yeah, you would think so, but no. Let me see here. A, B, C, and D. Maybe this would actually work. Okay, we're gonna try the next question with the predictions and see if this works, because the predictions are duplicable. Just use a fancy word, duplicable. If that's not a fancy word, then I just made it up and it sounds really fancy and I'm very proud of myself. Okay, bye. Okay, guys, ready for the next question? Also, duplicatable? I think duplicable sounds more fancy, okay? I make up stuff. You know this. This is not news to you. I make up stuff. Okay, ready for the next one? Let's go. Black Twilight places his mouth on her stomach and swallows her target whole. All he eats is the soul before Black Twilight leaves. The body breathes. I have no idea why this got so creepy, but here we go. I'm gonna start the prediction. You have a minute. Hopefully this works. Okay. Let's see if this works. I hope this works. I don't actually know if this works, but I also don't know if I did this correctly. So, we'll see. See, eating souls, right? Every single Pokédex entry of all of these 4 have something to do with souls, if that's what you're asking. I'm thinking B because I remembered a deck saying it leaves the soulless bodies of its prey. Hey, you guys can choose whatever you want to choose. I'll give you the right answer afterwards. Hope the thing actually works. Oh wait, but it says predict with channel points. It's E. Arcane, there is no E. It didn't give me a result. Oh. Okay, but here's the thing with predictions though. You have to use channel points to do this. Is that not like a bad thing? Like, if you guys get it wrong, you lose your channel points. If you don't have channel points because you're new, then you can't vote. Because you don't have channel points to use to vote. 10 points to vote. Oh, okay. Like, I don't know what I did. Do I look like the kind of person that knows what they do? Loser points. Okay. Can you lower it? I don't think I can. I think 10 is like the minimum. I think we're just gonna go back to like doing polls. We're just gonna go back to doing polls. I'll just copy paste the stuff and we'll be good. Choose the outcome. Do you guys want to see the outcome? It's B. The outcome is B. You get 300 if you follow. I mean, that is the thing, I guess. Complete prediction. Yeah, the predictions are definitely more work for me. So we're gonna go back to doing polls. We're gonna go back to polls. Can't duplicate them, but that's fine, I guess. All right. Now, the original Pokédex entry for this dude is... With the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing. Basically, Google Translate translated Dusknoir to Black Twilight. So that's his new name, Black Twilight. Thank you, men. TV Pokédex videos. Is it more work though? But whatever. Do what is most... Yeah, it is more work because I have to press more buttons once the poll is finished. So, it is more work. Once the prediction is finished. So, yes. I will do me. Thank you very much. Are you ready for another one? Wait, you actually guessed it right? Oh gosh. I am... Yeah, you got it right. So that's points 3. There, that makes it better. There we go. See, I get distracted. So like, this is better. I like this better. Anyways, you are 2 points away of spinning the wheel and potentially torturing me. Ads. We will wait for the ad. That was a really quick ad. Yes! Guys, I'm doing so good with quick ads. Doing so good with quick ads. I mean, granted, I have no control over what the ads are, but yeah. How many do you get? I mean, if it was that quick, it was probably just 1, right? Recently had a really bad experience on a streamers. Yeah, you told me about it, where they kept putting up ads. Just had a single 10-second and about dinosaurs. Hey! I'm doing so good. Dinosaurs? Yes, okay. Are you ready for the next one now that the ads are over? Yeah? Let's do it. This Pokemon is spitting water on its right side. Flying Pokemon Sparrowhawk. Good luck. Who's that Pokemon, guys? Vote in your poll. Tell me, who do you think this is? This Pokemon is spitting water on its right side. Flying Pokemon Sparrowhawk. Yeah. Yeah, it is, Google Translate got weird with some of these. It got weird. I'll be fair, I do not know where Sparrowhawk came from. Like, I can't, like, I'm looking at the original Dex entry, and, like, I can't figure out what got translated into that. So, good luck! Okay, we have a winner. The winner is D. And the correct answer is D. Oh, you guys are 1 point away of making me spin the wheel. The original Pokédex entry for this is this Pokemon launches water by detonating gas inside its right claw. It snipes flying Pokemon. Now, where Google Translate got Sparrowhawk from, I don't know. But here we are. Bicycle, here we come. You're 1 point away. I am terrified. All right, next question. I have to prepare the next question. A, B, C, D. Are you ready? Next question. They live in warm, shallow water. When faced with an enemy, internal organs fight. I feel like this should be easy. I feel like this one should be easy. So, here's the poll. I am so terrified. If you guys get this right, we get to spin the wheel and I'm scared. I am scared. Hey, it is. Savage, you're just following Symbio at this point, aren't ya? You're just following Symbio. If more people vote, the majority vote is the winner, right? Exactly. Majority of that. Savage can be blamed if it's wrong then. That is true, but you can, Symbio. Savage can blame you for the wrong answer. But yeah, no, if more people vote, then whoever gets the majority is the winner. So, the answer you chose is A. The correct answer is A. Dang it. The original Pokédex entry is, it lives in warm, shallow waters. If it encounters a foe, it will spit out its internal organs as a means to punch them. This translation, I probably put through Google Translate like 50 times. Like, I'm not even joking. This is one of the ones that I actually struggled with to get a different result. And the result is not that different, so this one was really easy. I basically handed this one to you guys. Spin that punishment. Okay, guys, we got point number 5. I've got a Pukamuku on my fusion team. Okay, so now let's see if this actually works and I don't completely dox myself. Give me a second so I can figure out the screen. Which should be this one. I think we're good. I think the chat looks a little bit weird, but just don't mind it. Don't mind the chat looking weird. Okay, guys. So let's spin the wheel. See what you guys get, or what I get. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Look at these setups. I know. I try my best. Okay. Scared. Okay. Sure. Great face. I guess I need to go play Pokemon now. Yeah. Okay. So let's fan blood test. Guys, what do you want me to do? Do you want like an actual attempt, or do you want me to just try a funny team? Because I don't actually know what we're gonna do with this at this point. Yeah. What do I do? You guys get to choose. Do I use a funny team? Do I use like a troll team? Or do I use like an actual attempt team? Because I do enjoy watching people play VGC. I don't enjoy playing it myself. So, funny, let's have a laugh. Oh my goodness, okay. Okay, so let me just put it over here. Switch this off. Find where I have to switch things off. Hello? Switch? Would you care to do things? Update. Okay, so change of plans. We're gonna do another question while this updates, okay? Yeah. We'll do another question while this updates. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll do, after this question, we'll do the VGC match. Fair enough. I didn't realize it was gonna update, so here we are. Alrighty, so with that said, the next question is, these Pokemon convert nutrients into fat, which they store in fruit. It's easy to survive a week without food or drink. Pick your answers. And without update, it will probably break us. I don't know. I'm not risking it. But yeah, these Pokemon convert nutrients into fat, which they store in fruit. It's easy to survive a week without food or drink. Good luck with this one. Cactus store nutrients. So does every other Pokemon on screen. Come on, you only have a few seconds left to vote. Place your guesses. Okay, we got A. I just thought of D as like camel's store. And the correct answer is B. You guys did not get a point. The original Pokédex entry is this Pokemon converts nutrients into oil, which it stores in the fruit on its head. It can easily go a whole week without eating or drinking. So it basically is mostly the same, but somehow oil got translated into fat at some point. No points for you. But with that said, let me go check if the update's done. I only have 2 screens, so. Okay, I think the update's done. Yep. But I know nothing. Do you now? Do you know nothing? Okay. The one Pokemon I never actually caught. Is that my fault? No, it's not. Okay, so we're going for VGC. 1 match. with a funny team. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I don't even know where the VGC thing is, if I'm being honest. I just know that I need to be online. I know it was indeed because its text entries are about how its skin is tasty. Well, Google Translate has done weirder things, so. Okay, so I am assuming Pokeportal. Okay. Battle Stadium? This is how experienced I am in VGC. Like, I've never done this. Did you hear Windows XP had their keygen cracked and you can now generate keys even though XP servers are closed? Free Windows XP. Lovely. Someone definitely messed up there. I'm assuming it's Battle Stadium? Do you see this? This is how badly I have never done VGC. It's even asking me to click buttons. That's how bad it is. I think I got the right buttons though. So, ranked it is. We're gonna do a ranked battle with a funny team. Guys, like when I say I haven't ever done VGC, I don't ever do VGC. I'm not joking. I really don't ever do VGC. So I just figured it out after all these years. Oh, okay. You can reach the highest rank. If you win in ranked battles, you go up in rank. Try your hardest to see how high a rank you can reach before. Well, I'm sorry, but we're gonna literally just play with a funny team, so. Okay, so double battle. Can I edit? I can. Okay. So now's the question. Do we make it actually funny? Or do I just pick from whatever I got shiny? Let's throw against a 10-year-old and give them false hope. Probably yes. So question being, do we use only the Pokemon that I've got shiny? Or do we make like an actual like funny team, like maybe just blobs or something? Because we can do both, and I have no idea what the moves are on these Pokemon, so. Brag with shinies? Okay, so in that case, we gotta start with the blob. I actually do not know what moves these Pokemon have, so. Yawn, Poison Gas, Sludge, and Body Slam. Can I change moves? I can't, it's too low leveled. Okay, well, Yawn's probably gonna do something, so we'll start with Swalot. Okay. Let's see what Bayonet has. Curse, Shadow Ball, Roleplay. What the hell is Roleplay? User unleashes its grudge on the last move used by the target by cutting 4 PP from it. That could be interesting. And Will-O-Wisp can burn. We can just Will-O-Wisp. We can Will-O-Wisp instead of Roleplay because I don't know what Roleplay do. Yeah. It's kind of cool that you can edit moves from like the selection screen. Do we want Sucker Punch? Yeah, we can keep Sucker Punch. Okay, so Bayonet is the next one. Okay. What other blob-like Pokemon do we have? We don't actually have too many blobs left. Do we take Finizen? But they'll know it's a Finizen. Do we take Dunsparce? Dunsparce is sort of blobby, right? This is interesting. Okay, so drill run, definitely yes. Instead of... Do we keep Yawn, actually? I think I'm gonna remove Roost. Guys, we're actually putting thought into this. It is a funny team, but we're actually putting thought into it, okay? Okay. Next up, we got... We don't really have a lot of blobs left. So right now we have Swalot, Bayonet, and Dunsparce. 2 hours later, she picks a team. Help me pick a team! Ice Cube? Ice Cube is fun. I just gotta make sure I have somewhat usable moves, right? Weather Wall could be nice. I'm gonna remove Aurora Veil. Can't you use Claude? I can use Claude. That is true. Claude is perfect. Except I can't find Claude over here. Like, Claude's not in these boxes. Imagine if that... No, but my Clodsire isn't in these boxes. No, that's not what... Okay, what I'm trying to say is... Wait. I am pressing X and it's not letting me. Furiously pressing X. It's not doing things. Oh, wait. L and R? No, that's just to move. Select? See, I can't select the Pokemon in my party for some reason. Yeah, I know, but like, I'm pressing X and it's not letting me. Should I bring Tink? Should I bring Pachirisu? We gotta leave a spot open for Claude, right? I don't know anymore. I don't know how this works. Should I just bring Glamora? Glamora's kind of blobby, and then we'll add Claude in later. If we can. I don't, like I said, I do not know how this works. Rockslide, Power Gem, Acid Armor, and Sludge Wave. Yeah, I guess it's fine. What if I press plus? No, that doesn't do anything. Okay, but how do I, like... Should I just put in Girafarig or Farigiraf instead of Claude? Because I don't think I can use Claude. For some reason. I don't actually know. Do I maybe have to go out, make a battle team, and come back in again? Like, how do I get Claude over to that side? I am confused. Okay, we're just gonna go with this team. They're all shinies. It doesn't have Claude in it, but I guess it's okay. None of them are holding items, but I guess that's okay too. Edit teams and move Claude out. Yeah, but I have to... But isn't it... I can't... See, I can't go into my battle party. I can either choose my battle party as a team, or I can go with this. No, view is just this. That's it. I'm confused. On the screen where it showed the party list you just had. So this. Now X. As you can see, I can't make sense of this. I think we're just gonna go with this and we're gonna figure it out. It's not mostly blobs, but it's definitely all shinies and none of the combinations make any sense, so... Wait. Don't make me go all the way out and back in again. I don't want to do that. I'm already nervous enough for this crap. Go back. I'm back. Also front, also left, and also right. What do you want to see? Left arrow button. What are you trying to make me do? Can you select team 1 on the top? Yeah, like I can... It doesn't have the party in it. It doesn't show the party. And I can't press X to go to party in boxes because it doesn't let me. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I guess we're just gonna go with this team and we're gonna see how far we get. Okay. Let's see how we do. I don't think we're gonna win. I think people that go into ranked battles like actually know what the hell they're doing. Meanwhile, I'm just here like... Sure. See, these is people that actually know what the hell they're doing. Okay? And they're gonna be staring at my team like, what the hell is this chick doing? So we're gonna take... Maybe they expect you to prepare a team from the party outside from this menu and then you can just choose a party as a team. I don't know, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna choose Swalot and Dunsparce, and then Bayonet and... Farigiraf? Or Ice Cube? We could do Ice Cube. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I never play ranked because I like having fun. Well, this is supposed to be a punishment, not a reward, okay? It's supposed for you to watch me stress because I am stressed. This dude looks way too chipper. Dragonite and Arcanine. Swallowed and Dunsparce. Hey, I'm starting off with 2 blobs. I don't like this. I'm just gonna yawn at this point. If we hit both yawns, that will be amazing. Because I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like if we hit both yawns, that would be great. Hey, we got an avoided. And we got one shot. Guys, we are doing so good. Can we yawn? We can yawn. Ice Cube it is. This person totally seriously trying to rank Tasha. Yawn. Yes. I yawn. We're gonna yawn again. We're gonna set up snow. And we're gonna die! No! We're alive! I forgot about Ice Cube's thing! Okay. I feel like Ice Cube could potentially be really annoying. If it doesn't die, like straight up. Why does it feel like I'm kind of winning right now? Because, like, Arcanine's asleep. Xiang Pao. It's such a pretty Pokemon. Imagine if you win. That would be so weird. I dealt damage! And my blob died! Are they scared of... No, the Pokemon just fell asleep, which means if they switch it out and switch it back in again, it'll hopefully wake up. I don't know. And now Dragonite's asleep. But I have no more sleepers. So... what does this do? Can I just sucker punch this? And then, like, just... I don't know what I'm doing. I'm dead! Guys, I am not winning this. It's literally Bayonet against the world. I just somehow inadvertently found Arceus. Oh my gosh. It's Bayonet against the world. So this is clearly not gonna go well. And... I don't know what I'm doing. Symbio found God. I thought Bidoof was God. Okay, so the person that's playing, I guess, doesn't also know what they're doing because they just try to sucker punch me. I mean, clearly they did more, they know more than me because I just lost. But the fact that they try to sucker punch, like when the Pokemon was already in play and had already done moves, like that's wrong. Because that won't work, but I definitely lost. Okay. Do I get anything for losing? Or do I just get a headache? I was just walking on a mountain and a stairway appeared. GG on losing. No, I just pressed continue battling. No, I don't want to. No. Can I get back out? I want to back out. Please let me back out. Let me back out. Let me out. I don't want to be here. Let me out. trivia night. That was terrifying. I didn't like that. There was no matchup to be found. I just no. Just no. Let's go back to Trivia Night. Trivia Night is a lot more relaxing than playing VGC, so let's not do that again, shall we? You guys need to get to 10 to spin the wheel again, and hopefully we don't do another VGC match, because I don't like it and my heart can't take that. Thank you. Next question. Are you ready? It's a flying car with a small Pokémon in its mouth. He shook his waves to stop his wings. You got 1 minute to figure this out. Good luck. If it lands on VGC, we just do bicycle, right? No. No, we don't. I don't actually know what's worse. Yeah. Anyway, I'll repeat again. It's a flying car with a small Pokémon in its mouth. He shook his waves to stop his wings. I wish you guys good luck. True, but Tasha a troll. I told you, I made things in a way that everything is kind of plausible, considering Google Translate, so everything is kind of plausible. Let's go A. Panicked, went A. You can't panic. You have to make a decision. And I guess you did, because only one of you was on time to vote. So, the answer is C. The original Pokédex entry is, it is a flying transporter that carries small Pokémon in its beak. It bobs on the waves to rest its wings. Now, have we learned nothing from watching me play Pokemon Snap? These dudes have Pyukumukus in his mouth. Also, have we learned nothing from watching the anime? It carries an entire gacha machine for Pokeballs. So, no points for you. I am one step closer to not having to do stuff. Next question, guys. Glowing spores. No, you won't. Glowing spores attract animals and lull them to sleep. The sleeping Pokemon holds the animal in its arms and takes life from his fingers. I wish you good luck on this very creepy Pokédex entry, because it's creepy. So I've started the poll. Place your bets. Is it Shiinotic? Is it Vileplume? Blossom? Is it Blossom? Is it Vivillon? Or is it Tentacruel? Gallarform? Toadscruel? Toadscruel, that's his name. Vileplume, not Blossom. Yeah. Oh no, I said it right from the start. I said Vileplume, then I said no Blossom, and then I was still wrong. I was right when I started, and then I was wrong. I'm an idiot. I'm a simple idiot. I'm an idiot in this world. Whoa. OG ones I know. Nettie, hello, welcome on in. Okay, we got 3 votes for D. I met the little bean today. Oh, are you full on auntie mode? Full on auntie mode, Nitty. Okay. Hello, Auntie Nitty. Because we no longer have regular Nitty. Now it's Auntie Nitty, guys. It's a very important distinguishment. Distinguishment? I don't think that's a word. I'll crochet her a little dino cuddle clot as soon as my yarn arrives, so you decide. Woo! Bet. Yeah, that's not an answer for this. Do you guys want to know what the actual answer for this trivia question is? The correct answer is A. It's A. Guys, the original Pokedex entry is its flickering spores lure in prey and put them to sleep. Once this Pokemon has its prey snoozing, it drains their vitality with its fingertips. People forget that Shiinotic has little fingertips. Little root fingertips. Honestly thought it was A. You're just saying that now because you followed Symbio, didn't ya? But I don't trust myself. Trust yourself more. Makes things more interesting. So no points for you again. You didn't get it right. Alrighty, on to the next one. I forgot that Pokemon existed. I like Shiinotic. Shiinotic is listen, Shiinotic was pretty OP in my run in Pokemon Sword and Shield, so. Cause squid have no spores. Yeah, but that's a grass Pokemon though. Toedscruel is a grass Pokemon somehow. So it could have spores. Also, it's a toad, not a squid. Next, a strong current flowed from his clenched fingers. The enemy knows little trouble. You guys, who's that Pokemon? Vote now. A strong current flowed from his clenched fingers. The enemy knows little trouble. If I didn't have the answer in front of me, I would not have guessed this one. If it wasn't for me having the answer, I would not have guessed this one. It's either A or C. Okay. I was not looking at chat. What were you looking at, Nitty? Current makes me think electric, so I'm going A. Let's packing my little angel collection. Okay, we have a winner. The winner is A. The correct answer is D. The original Pokedex entry goes as follows. Strong electricity courses through the tips of its sharp claws. A light scratch causes fainting in foes. I told you, I made this crap plausible. Google Translate did its work on some of these. You guys really want to point, like, you just had like 4 questions wrong in a row. So we were right with electric. Yes, you were. It was an electric current in this case. Strong electricity. Next! I see we're getting competitive over here, Savage. That night, dripping groups run to the ocean and enjoy catching Pokemon in the water. I will now make the poll available to you all. There you go. Poll is up. Place your votes. That night, dripping groups run to the ocean and enjoy catching Pokemon in the water. Meanwhile, I do the fur dance. Gotta have confidence? Ooh. We'll see. You know, Tasha, maybe next time for overlay, maybe you can put the rewards where the bingo is. Wait, you want a next time? Is this fun enough that you guys want a next time too? Okay. Sure. Okay. We can make that happen. Ah, crap. I need to compose myself. By the way, the answer is correct. It's D. For making Tasha, thank you for feeding the squirrel, Nettie. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Put a lot of work into it. Okay. You guys get a point. You're now one step closer to spinning the wheel again and potentially having me ride a bicycle. No! Stop feeding the squirrel! I have glasses now! I can't touch my face like this! Thank you again, Mandy J Pokedex videos. Gosh. Okay, so with that said, the original Pokedex entry is in the evening, groups of Drippy will fly at high speeds over the ocean and poke at Pokemon in the water for fun. And there you have it. Drippy translated into dripping. Next question. You guys are 4 points away. Drippy or dripping? Yep. Drippy or dripping? What? That wasn't me. That was Google Translate. How was I supposed to... Anyway. Next question, shall we? Wanted to explain the same thing. Okay, guys. The farmer's cheerful demeanor strengthened his mind. He spins and dances when he's happy. So, yeah. Good luck on this one. For you guys' sake, I hope you get a point. You may now start voting. The farmer's cheerful demeanor strengthened his mind. He spins and dances when he's happy. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Be it is, Tasha be like, do not work together. How dare you guys work together to punish me into doing things that I have myself prepared. How dare thee. All right. And the winning answer is B. And the correct answer is... But did you expect VGC today, though? No, I did not. I mean, I put it on the wheel, but I never expected it to... Like, there's a 10% chance that everything will hit. Considering we didn't hit it last time, I was also not expecting to hit it this time, but hey. Correct answer for this Pokédex entry is... B. You guys get another point. All right. You're getting your memento back. The original Pokédex entry for this translation is... The cheerful spirit of its trainer gives it energy for its psychokinetic power. It spins and dances when happy. Now, trainer got translated into farmer for some reason. How? I don't know, but here we are. Are you guys ready for the next one? I hope you are. Oh, this is a weird one. All right. Are you guys ready? What does release do? All I know is yeet. You can use yeet. That is true. Okay, next question. Are you ready? This is a weird one. Good luck. It is good to eat the berries before eating. It was perfect the way it was. I will start the poll now. It is good to eat the berries before eating. It was perfect the way it was. I do not know how Google Translate got here. But, good luck. Place your bets. Place your votes. Which one is this one? You got about 30 seconds left. Vote, 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 vote. Tap that poll. I go hamster. I'm gonna say C because of hangry. I'm not saying anything. Hamster style. Morpico. Morpico. Morpico's really cute though. Actually, all of them are cute. All right, we have a winner. The answer you chose is C. The correct answer is A. No points for you. This Pokédex entry reads, very intelligent. It roasts berries before eating them. It likes to help people. A for ape. Panseer. Panseer, people. Yeah, I do not know how Google Translate got from point A to point B. But the fact is, I did not put this too many times through Google Translate. This was one of the fewer ones that I put. This was like maybe 10, 15 times. The Translate went everywhere and got lost on the way. Google Translate went traveling and got lost on the way, let me tell you. Holy crap. So, sorry, no points for you, but you're still 3 points away of spinning the wheel. We still have more questions. Are you ready for the next one? Yeah, you should be able to get this, I think. Are you ready? Let's do it. Change the color to match the environment. If you don't pay attention for a long time, then it's hard to talk about it. Yeah, kind of like me. Don't pay attention to me for a long time. It's kind of hard to talk to me. Because I will recoil. Here's your poll. Get to voting. Change the color to match the environment. If you don't pay attention for a long time, then it's hard to talk about it. Some are easier, some are more difficult. Regardless, they all went through Google Translate a whole bunch of times. Oh wait, my numbers is wrong. How are my numbers wrong? Oh. Oh, that's interesting. My numbers are wrong. Apparently, I have one extra question because I have my answers and my things like all numbered. And this question doesn't have a number, which means we technically don't have... Which means I technically didn't make 65, I made 66. When I made this 3 months ago. Oh, that's weird. Well, anyway. I just did a random guess. You have chosen C. Will this be a problem? No, it just means you get a bonus question. Another chance to get a point. Will you get a point today, though? Will you get a point right now, though? The correct answer is D. It's Kecleon. The original Pokédex entry states, it changes its hue to blend into its surroundings. If no one takes notice of it for too long, it will pout and never reveal itself. I am Kecleon. D for damn! Didn't see that one coming, now did ya? Yeah, I am Kecleon. If no one takes notice of it for too long, it will pout and never reveal itself. That is me. That is my description if I'm ever in public. No points for you guys, I'm sorry. But you have more chances. You have more chances. D for Dopius. I mean, the changing its hue should definitely have been like... change the color to match the environment, change its hue to blend into its surroundings. You know, you would think it might have been a bit more obvious, but yes. No, it doesn't. It evolves into Vivillon depending on its environment. But if it's evolved into like marine form Vivillon and it goes to a different environment, it doesn't change into a different Vivillon. I told you I made this thing plausible. I made everything plausible. One more. Alrighty. One more and I sleep. But you just got here. And tomorrow's Saturday. Go, go, go. Besides what you can see on his face, he also has a terrible attitude. He wrapped his long body around his beast and pulled it into the hole. Google Translate was very questionable on this one. Hash, I love you, but I'm still moving. Yeah, that is true. That is true, Nitty. You need rest. But also, you chose a good one to stick around for, because this is just questionable. So I'm starting the poll and you guys go for it. Besides what you can see on his face, he also has a terrible attitude. He wrapped his long body around his beast and pulled it into the hole. I will be fair, I'm not 100% sure where Google Translate got half of this stuff. So, good luck to you. I go rebel. Uh-oh. Is Nitty gonna rebel? Alright, you only have a few seconds more left if you haven't voted yet. Place your votes. Votes, votes, votes! Okay. We have a majority vote for D. Now, allow me to say that rebelling would have paid off. The correct answer is, in fact, Nitty. B. Should have listened to Nitty. But you get no point because majority votes. And majority voted wrong. I didn't make rules, I just made the rules. It also doesn't count, no. Just tell me I'm awesome. Yes, Nitty, you are awesome. You are the only one that got this. You did it. You got it right, but everyone else got it wrong. So no points. The original Pokédex entry, though, is it has a vicious temperament, contrary to what its appearance may suggest. It wraps its long bodies around prey, then drags them into its den. And Google Translate got this. Just say. Sounds a bit questionable. Because you do that when I'm a potato on a bed. Potatoes on beds aren't awesome. Potatoes on the beds are super awesome. I wish I could be a potato lying on the bed every single day. But work. Work is the thing. Yeah. Nitty, couch potatoes are awesome. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I go to sleep. Have a good one, Nitty. Thank you for stopping by and good luck with your move. Wraps long body around what? It says here it wraps its long bodies around prey. Prey is beast. Prey is beast. Yeah. Didn't hear and you skipped last message. Oh, sorry, I was talking to Nitty. Oh, my finger's bleeding again. Okay, anyway, see how far that goes. All right, no points, but you have another shot at getting it right. Can you reread everything? It has a vicious temperament, contrary to what its appearance may suggest. It wraps its long bodies around prey, then drags the prey into its den. I mean the chats? The chats. Around what? Wraps long body around what? Oh, prey. Didn't hear you. Didn't hear and you skipped the last message. I'm confused now. Did I not just... I don't understand what you mean! I don't understand what you mean. We were talking about couch potatoes! I was talking to Nitty. What does that matter if you can reread chats after that? But you skipped my message. Listen. I've told you many times over the past 2 years. I am a dingus. That should not be anything new. You've been here for 2 years. You should know by now that I am a dingus. You have a couch in my brain for some reason. Okay? Like, come on. You should know this by now. What happened? Symbio back? I think so. There should no longer be any ads. So I think so. Dingus. Symbio, please inform me if you are back or not, or if you want to keep going or not. Shall I move on to the next question or not? Those are questions. Zoned out. Yeah, that happens. Go, go, go next. Okay. In particular, they are very vulnerable. We may encounter opposition at school. Go vote. Also, not entirely sure how half of this translation came to be. In particular, they are very vulnerable. We may encounter opposition at school. Oh, the next one's funny. I was thinking A or D. I'm not giving you any answers. Don't look at me. I'm not giving you answers. Only after you've answered do I give you the answer. That's how this works. We already voted? Oh. Well, I don't know who else is in chat or isn't in chat. I just wait for the timer to run out and keep talking until then. Okay, we have votes for D. The original Pokédex entry is, individually, they're incredibly weak. It's by gathering up into schools that they're able to confront opponents. With that said, your answer is correct. Switching it up. Switching it up. Before I give you the point. This means if you get 2 more questions right, we spin the wheel, you troll. On to the next one. You're so funny. Oh, pish posh. Alrighty, are you ready for the next one? This is actually a funny one. Like, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea how Google Translate got here. So, here it is. Weak and sorry for the fire, but not more than 7 meters. Here's your poll. Get to voting. Weak and sorry for the fire, but not more than 7 meters. I don't know how this happened. It's really funny, but I don't know how it happened. So, place your bets. Will you be 1 step closer to getting points? Or will you not be 1 step closer to getting points? I wish you guys good luck. I'm thinking D, it's the only fire type. It's not though. Pikipek is also a fire type, right? Or, oh no, it's just the evolutions. All right, we have a winner. Your answer is D. The correct answer is actually A. I don't know how Google Translate did this. The original translation is an underpowered, pathetic Pokemon. It may jump high on rare occasions, but never more than 7 feet. I don't know how this happened. They're not even fire type, you're thinking of Fletchling. Oh right, that is true. No, but isn't Toucanon also fire type? I thought Toucanon was part fire. No, it's flying normal. Oh, that was my mistake. Should have known from the number 7, badass. Honestly, I have no idea how it went from an underpowered, pathetic Pokemon to weak and sorry for the fire. Like, how did that happen? It does not compute. An underpowered goes to weak. But how does pathetic Pokemon turn into sorry for the fire? I don't know, man. Google Translate was really weird with this one. Pathetic, apologetic. I don't know. I really don't know. But it does mean you guys don't get a point for this one. The next one should be a little bit easier, I think. So, you have a shot. It's less weird than this one. So, are you ready? Good luck. According to Paranormal Magazine, this Pokemon is like a scientific weapon sent to Earth by aliens. C, D. We can do this. I'll start the poll. According to Paranormal Magazine, this Pokemon is like a scientific weapon sent to Earth by aliens. If you think it's B, Arcane, just vote. Do the voting. If we're wrong, we boycott. If you know the Pokédex entry, you don't boycott. If you're wrong, or if you're right. I'm not telling you the answer. You do still need 2 more points to get another to get another spin of the wheel, so. Alrighty. The answer you guys have voted for is B. The correct answer is C. It's Iron Threads. This Pokédex entry reads, this Pokemon closely resembles a scientific weapon that a paranormal magazine claimed was sent to this planet by aliens. Secretly, by giving Tash the voice mess lines, I can mod her voice remotely from here. I will boycott. Wait, you can actually do that? I'm shook. Nah, I was like, terrifying. Terrifying. Imagine, that would be terrifying. That would be legit terrifying. Holy crap. You got good. Have you been doing that so far? Okay, guys, so you don't get a point for this one. Come on, people! Where's your pointing skills? What? Where's your pointing skills? Okay, maybe you'll get the next one. Okay? I'm hoping for you. Maybe you'll get the next one. Lake Faya, according to Asian texts, iron snakes turn the world into thunder and lightning. I really hope you get something at some point. Or not. Depends on what the reward will be. I'll start the poll. Get to voting. Tell me what you think. Tell me who you think Lake Faya is. According to ancient texts, iron snakes turn the world into thunder and lightning. You got Thundurus, you got Miraidon, you got Dragonair, and you got Komo-o. Hakomo-o? I do not know the names of all the Pokemon in this evolution line. I think it's Hakomo. Maybe. We got an A. Come on, people, do better. Do better. The original Pokédex entry is, it seems to be the Iron Serpent mentioned in an old book. The Iron Serpent is said to have turned the land to ash with its lightning. Iron Snake, Iron Serpent, Lightning. I was sure you guys would have gotten this one. Also, I have no idea how we got to Lake Faya. I do not know that part. I don't know where Lake Faya came from. I really don't know where Lake Faya came from, but it showed up. Come on, people! Okay. Haven't played a Mon game in years aside from Legends, but that's old Mon Gen list. Don't blame me. I mean, we have been playing, you know, Pokemon Scarlet Violet. I have Miraidon. We have seen its Pokédex entry, so like... The only land that turned to lightning is the dirt it crashed into at the beginning of the game. Hey, still! There you go. Turn the world into thunder and lightning. It doesn't say the whole world, it just says the world. Could be just a little portion of it. Okay, so no points? I told you I didn't watch the game when you stream Pokemon. Well, you should. It would have probably prepared you a little bit better for today. The beach. Okay. Guys, come on. You can still do this. He will do anything to win and will take every opportunity to destroy his opponents with his little fingers. I'll start the poll. He will do anything to win and will take every opportunity to destroy his opponents with his little fingers. Little fingers. I'm kind of rooting for you guys to actually get a point. I feel like it's been too many questions since you've gotten one, and maybe I made this too difficult. C is my choice. I don't know what these faces are. Alrighty, timer's running out. If anyone still wants to vote, you have seconds left. And you guys chose C, but not unanimously. One of you chose B. The correct answer for this one is B. Sadly, minority does not win. So, you guys get no points again. Little fingers. I was right. Yeah, you were right, Arcane. Okay, the original Pokédex entry is, it will do anything to win, taking advantage of every opening and finishing opponents off with the small claws on its front legs. Simple. Barely translated. Alright, people, next one. He has many hidden powers, such as diving with his feet in water and floating in the air with a net on his back. I am making the poll as fast as I can. Alright, people. Get your votes in. He has many hidden powers, such as diving with his feet in water and floating in the air with a net on his back. I feel like this should be easy enough. What have it always was the move first impressions, because it seems like a cheap shot. It's true. It has the move first impressions. I think it's a signature move too. What gave it away? Aha, what gave it away? Arcane knows their stuff, huh? You know your stuff. Meanwhile, I'm just dancing. I chose good playlists. Kinda know. Okay, you guys chose D. Come on, people. A net on his back? It's Inteleon! No points for you! Did I make this too difficult? I might have made this too difficult. Diving with his feet in the water and floating in the air with a net on his back. The original Pokédex entry is, it has many hidden capabilities, such as fingertips that can shoot water and a membrane on its back that it can use to glide through the air. It went from glide to floating, basically, on the translation. Google Translate, man. Languages be weird. Okay. Gosh dang. Yeah, you guys are on a run right now. Pikachu used Thunderbolt. Let's see you fly. Alright, next. He lives in the darkness of the cave. Sister-in-law has sharp claws to probe for lizards in search for food. This is a weird one. This turned out to be a weird one. Starting the poll. Get your votes in. He lives in the darkness of the cave. Sister-in-law has sharp claws to probe for lizards in search for food. Do not know how we got there, but I don't understand this translation. Like the first part, the second part, the whole thing just, yeah. I hope you guys get a point soon. Otherwise, I'm starting to feel like I've made this too difficult. And I don't want to feel that way. Alright, poll's closing. The answer you chose is B. And the correct answer is B! You guys get a point! Why am I clapping? Why am I happy about? No, I'm happy about this because you guys got a point. Finally! Finally got a point. One step closer. One step closer to spinning the wheel. You cannot guarantee that you're gonna get a bike ride out of it. Make it so. Alright, the original Pokédex entry for this is, it dwells in the darkness of caves. It uses its sharp claws to dig up gems to nourish itself. Now, I do not know where sister-in-law came from out of all of this, but yeah. Well, technically I have two, just saying. But it's a team effort. It's chat versus me. You are part of chat. Gems are lizards. Yes, apparently so. I do not understand. I have been trying to figure out where sister-in-law came from out of this translation, and I can't figure it out. I think, I don't know. it uses turned into sister-in-law? I don't freaking know. Let's go on to the next one, shall we? Or you guys want to puzzle this one some more? Oh, that's my alarm. C, D, 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 D. No puzzling. Next. Go, 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 go. They fly and eat foul-smelling animals. It takes all day to feed the animals. If you get one more point, you get to spin the wheel. It all hinges on this one, guys. It lives in the cave, in the darkness of cave. Baby mama has sharp claws to probe for child support. Oh my gosh. Arcane, how did you get there? Okay, guys, they fly and eat foul-smelling animals. It takes all day to feed the animals. What is the answer? You will choose. This one's actually kind of funny. This one translated funny. I mean, granted, they kind of all translated funny, but this one translated funny. Get your votes in if you haven't yet. Participate in trivia night. Participate. All right, poll closing. And we have a D answer. The correct answer is C. Arcane, you did not vote C. The correct answer was C, but you did not vote C. You voted T. So no points. No points for anyone. The original Pokédex entry is, oh, I had to go with the team. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can make your own autonomous decisions. The original Pokédex entry is, it attracts prey with its sweet-smelling saliva, then chomps down. It takes a whole day to eat its prey. There you go. Alrighty. Ready for the next one? So I'm at a technical 3. No, you're at a technical 0. No, technically you're at 1. You didn't get the other 2 right. A, B, C, and D. If you knew Dex entry again, you'd know. I know shit. Hey. You gotta know Pokemon if you want to play this game. Alright, people. On to the next one, which is... It does not live in a permanent location. Explore the plains and mountains freely and collect the power you need to continue. This is a very, like, inspirational, keep going kind of Pokédex entry, guys. Starting the poll now. Get your votes in. It does not live in a permanent location. Explore the plains and mountains freely and collect the power you need to continue. You got this, guys. I believe in you. One more point and you get to spin the wheel. You can do this. You can probably make me do push-ups or ride a bicycle. Those are options if you get it right. Pressure. Oh no, I'm tiebreaker. Oh no! We have Mothim. Ride a bike. Oh yes, Arcane. Riding a bike is a punishment. If you guys get it. It's a thing that can happen. Your chosen answer is C. Oh, lovely people, come on. The correct answer is D. Collect the power you need to continue. This was the only one that could still evolve. It should have been a dead giveaway. power you need to continue to evolve. The original Pokédex entry is, it does not live in a fixed location. It roams where it pleases across the fields and mountains, building up energy it needs to evolve. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Again, I don't know the dex. But you don't have to know the dex. Power you need to continue should have been the dead giveaway. I feel like this one would have been easy. We don't read Pokédex entry, we just say Pokemon go! If you knew dex, this was easy. No, because power you need to continue. I purposely only put one Pokemon that could still evolve in this list. All the other Pokemons were either unevolvable or fully evolved. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Alright then, on to the next one. Okay, this one's funny. Let's go. It has 3 poison ivy on its front legs and mouth. They often use swords to stab enemies. Place your bets on what it is. It has 3 poison ivy on its front legs and mouth. That sounds really painful. They often use swords to stab enemies. Poll is closing soon. Get your votes in if you haven't voted yet. Will this be the point that you guys get to spin the wheel? The correct answer is A. You guys get to torture me today. That's 10. Wait, that's 10. Should add a space in front. Nope, can't add a space in front. Spin that wheel. Do you not want to hear the original Pokédex entry? Because it translated, it has 3 poisonous stingers on its front legs and tail to front legs and mouth. I don't know what they got the swords, but they are used to jab its enemy repeatedly. Beedrill doesn't have a mouth. I figured it out. All right, guys. So I guess we're spinning a wheel. And someone outside has a very, very loud motorcycle. Let's go. I am terrified, but let's do this. Are you ready? Hey! You guys got rewarded. I don't think we're gonna be streaming for another hour. Do you guys want to keep this reward for next stream? Or do you guys want to use this right now? I will give you the choice. Use it right now or use it next stream. The choice is yours. Use it later? All right. In that case, I will make note of your decision. Where's my pen? I've lost my pen. No, here it is. Recycle the spin option 3. everyone 2 times speed. 29:05. Alrighty. 1 hour. Okay. I've written it down so I don't forget. Here's the post-it. Sticking it to my desk. There's no time left. I mean, you never know. There might be surprises in store. All right, so let's just go back and get to it. Okay, people, next one. Once you get to 15 points, you get to spin the wheel again. We are currently on slide... Okay, so listen, I missed 2 numbers. So according to my little Word document, we should be on 54. It's actually 56. So just let's count with the numbers. It's 54 out of 65. So you only have like a few more left. You can still do it. On to the next one we go. 7 left. No! Not 7 left, 11 left. We're going on to 54. Slide 54 is this one. It kills its prey with explosive force and sharp claws. Driving on bumpy roads is not his forte. So with that said, get to voting. It kills its prey with explosive force and sharp claws. Driving on bumpy roads is not his forte. Make your picks. And I will even give you a small tip. Okay? One of the answers has already shown up as an answer last trivia night. So if you remember what we did last trivia night, you'll know which one it isn't. And it was the last one that got me to do push-ups. I can't remember that. Well, I mean, you winged it and got the answer correct and forced me to do push-ups. You should remember. That should have been memorable. Oh my god, come on, guys. This is exactly the one I was saying. This was the one answer that got me to do push-ups. The content was not the text question. Guys, it's C. It's Lanoon. The original Pokédex entry is, it uses its explosive speed and razor-sharp claws to bring down prey. Running along winding paths, it's not its strong suit. No points for you. Next. B, C, and D. The content was not the dex question. Driving, none of them have a license. Yeah, no, if they got stopped by the police, they're gonna get a fine, Arcane. Because none of them do that. Like Millionaire, we should have helplines. Well, listen, last time, okay, when we did the first half of the questions, y'all were like, oh, this is too easy. This is too easy. Is it? Is it too easy? Is it? Is it too easy? Because apparently, it's not that easy. I'm starting to feel like I made it too difficult. Last time we had Polly and Nitty, I think. You knew this was coming. You could have studied. No, now I'm just being mean. Now I'm just being mean. Now I'm just being mean. No. It's busted. Why is this on max difficulty? I don't know anything, to be honest. I mean, Google Translate did a work of art over here, so... Stop talking. Next one. Starve your enemies and crush them with your mighty head. Choose. Starve your enemies and crush them with your mighty head. What will it be? Both my cats are sleeping in the tree. They're very cute. All right, poll is ending. Hope you placed your bets. Your answer is B. It's incorrect. The answer was A. It's Octillery. The original Pokédex entry is, it traps enemies with its suction-cupped tentacles, then smashes them with its rock-hard head. Now, I don't know how we went from trap enemies with suction-cupped tentacles to starve your enemies. But yeah. Squishy Squish has a hard head. Yes, it does. Apparently a rock hard one. For this game. Yeah, like, oh, I just hit the bike. What am I supposed to do? Okay, we'll do the following. Okay? I'm gonna show you the next question. I feel sorry for you guys. So before I show you the next... Before I start the poll for the next question, if you guys feel it's too difficult, I will remove one answer. I will tell you which one answer it is not, okay? This will be your helpline. I feel sorry for you. Are you ready? Wings covered with sand blown by sand, and each gust spits out a large amount of poisonous dust. Do you think this is easy enough? Or do you think you need help? Speak now, or I will start the poll. Wings covered with sand blown by sand, and each gust spits out a large amount of poisonous dust. Do we need to call a helpline? I am the helpline. Or are we putting this in Chat GPT and seeing if it gives you the answer? Calls Tasha. Okay. It is not A. It is not A. So with that said, I'm starting the poll, and you can choose between B, C, or D. So, get to voting. You only have to choose between 3 of them this time. B, C, or D. Wings covered with sand blown by sand, and each gust spits out a large amount of poisonous dust. Also, I wish the polls could only last. I wish the polls would last 30 seconds instead of a minute, but a minute is literally the least amount of time I can put in. So, yeah. Minute is not too long since there is delay and such. Yeah, that is true, I guess. Okay, you people chose D, even with my help. Did you choose the right answer? The correct answer is B. It is Venomoth. Did I really make these questions too difficult? I feel like I made, like, there are even multiple. Imagine if this was my original plan where it would not be multiple choice. You guys would just have to type in words in chat. It would have been chaotic, and you would have definitely never guessed stuff. By the looks of it. The original Pokédex entry is, the wings are covered with dust-like scales. Every time it flaps its wings, it loses highly toxic dust. So, I don't know where the sand came from, but there was a lot of sand. Okay, so I will give you another helpline for the next question. And here it is. I like cold, cold. Cool weather around 14 degrees Fahrenheit is... Oop, sorry, I had to burp. Holy crap, okay. Unusual, water makes me burpy, but still. I like cold, cold. Cool weather around 14 degrees Fahrenheit is best for swimming. Do you need a hotline? I need a Pokédex. Well, go get yourself a Pokédex. So, do you need help? Or do you think you can get this one? It's a challenge for you to make a challenge for me. Help? The answer is not C. The answer is not C. I will now start the poll. You get to choose between A, B, or D. Oh. Nobody said that. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 more questions after this one. Which means you only have 1 more spin. If you get at least 5 of the 8 left correct, you get 1 spin. I made an oopsie, I'll give you that one. I made an oopsie. You guys get the point. I scrolled in the wrong window. I was gonna count how many questions we had left, and I scrolled in the wrong window. My mouse was like this far away from the other window. Easy. If I give you the answer, it's easy now, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, on to the next question. You have 8 questions left. If you get at least 4 more correct, you can get another spin. So with that said, next question. This Pokemon has arrived in recent years. Sir Hamas is the name for the animals mentioned in the book. Do you need a helpline? Or do you think this one's easy enough that you can get on your own? This Pokemon has arrived in recent years. Sir Hamas is the name for the animals mentioned in the book. Help? The answer is not D. Which means you get to choose between A, B, or C. Good luck. I'll even give you another one. I don't know my ABCs. I'll even give you another one. It is one of the newer sprites. Oh, people. We're getting to the end. Okay, you guys chose C. Even with my help, did you get the correct answer? You did not. The correct answer was B. The thing here was book. Book would have given it away. Considering I took out future form Larvesta? No, Volcarona. The fact that it says book would have given it away, because the other ones don't show up in a book. The Dunsparce does not show up in a book. And also, Great Tusk, for some reason, got translated to Sir Hamas. I do not know what that's about. But, here we go again. No points for you. Maybe the next one. Are you ready? Guys, are we ready for the next question, or are we having ads? Hold on. Snooze. Yeah. Okay, we are ready. The next question is, if you see tears in your eyes, your mouth is a little salty. This species traveled far from cold places to see ice. Do you need help? Or do you think that you can get this one on your own? I feel like this one should be fairly easy, but you never know. If you see tears in your eyes, your mouth is a little salty. The species traveled far from cold places to see ice. These translations are, yeah, these translations went to Google Translate at least 15 to 20 times. Some of them have gone up to 40 times through Google Translate, just to get it far enough away from the original text entry that it stops making sense. It is a challenge. Do we need help, or should I start the poll? That is up to you. Help? The answer is not C. Place your bets, place your votes. The answer is not C. So you get to choose between A, B, and D. Don't forget about the salt. Or do forget about the salt. Or don't forget about the salt. Or do forget about the salt. I'm just messing with you guys. I feel like this should be easy enough this time around. And you guys chose B. Might have made this too hard. I might have made this. The salt one was not right. Then why keep yammering about the salt? Because Ice Cube's Pokedex entry is, if you lick the ice covering its face, you'll find it has a faintly salty taste. This species rode here on ocean currents from cold, faraway land. Ice Cube has salt. Salt plus ice. I thought even still it was gonna be easy. I removed the only other ice type. But did it travel from cold places? No, it did not. Thought I made it easy for you guys. Okay, well, on to the next one, I guess. There's only 6 more. Okay? Come on, people. This one's pretty easy. You can get this one. I believe in you. His face burned with hatred for the swordsman who had interrupted his thoughts. I am not even gonna give you guys a lifeline on this one, because this one is very, very, very straightforward. I'm gonna just start the poll and I'm gonna let you vote on it. This one is very straightforward. No, literally. His face burned with hatred for the swordsman who had interrupted his thoughts. I have this Pokemon, so do I. I'll give you that hint. I also have this Pokemon. Come on, you gotta get it. I've given you so many hints. You can do Yes, I told you this one was gonna be easy. This one's wrong. I'm uninstalling Twitch. Well, good for you. You don't have to do it because it is correct. You guys get a point. See, it's not so bad. I told you this one was pretty easy. Alrighty, next one. I will give you guys a lifeline on this one. If you need it. If you feel like you need it. Okay? Here we go. His legs shook and shook. Going too far will kill it. Will kill him. His legs shook and shook. Going too far will kill him. I will be honest, I do not know how this translation got so dark. So I will give you guys a helpline if you need one, but you gotta let me know. Help? The answer is not C. So I will be removing C. You get to choose between A, B, and D. And this should hopefully make it a little bit easier. Okay? Just focus on the shook and shook. Okay? I'll be shook if you don't get it now. Between A, B, and D. Imagine walking and dying. That actually did happen. I think it was 2 years ago. Right in my street. It was very weird. That's what I'm saying. If you don't get it this time, then I don't know. You guys chose A? A is correct. D can teleport. I took away the only other obvious answer that it could have been. I would have been disappointed if you guys didn't get this one now. But you got it. You get a point. You are now 2 points away of spinning the wheel. And also, the original Pokédex for Spinda is its steps are shaky and stumbling. Walking for a long time makes it feel sick. Now, I don't know how it went from makes it feel sick to will kill him. It's a little bit morbid, but you know. You guys are 2 points away of spinning the wheel, and you still have 1, 2, 3, 4 more questions left. Okay? You guys can do this. I believe in you. Next question. If you find this Pokemon inside, it will not be cleaned, and you will die from the worst disease. The dirt will not go away. I will give you a lifeline for this one. How many spins did we get last game? I think 3. I think 3. I gave you a bonus spin at the end, since you were only 1 point away. You will find this Pokemon inside. It will not be cleaned, and you will die from the worst disease. The dirt will not go away. You need a lifeline. Okay. I am removing B. Okay? I am removing B. Starting poll. Starting poll. It is found inside I do not understand how this translation got this way. So all I'm saying is, think twice. I removed the first and only obvious answer for the current translation. So... the rest is up to you. I'm getting sleepy, actually. It's D. If it's D, I'm gonna scream because that thing is never inside. You chose A. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. A is also never inside. The only Pokemon that is ever inside out of these, removing Trubbish, is Lickitung. All the other ones are outside. So, yeah. Lickitung cooks! The original Pokedex entry for this is, if this Pokemon's sticky saliva gets on you and you don't clean it off, an intense itch will set in. The itch won't go away either. So, dirt is now itch. Listen, don't be mad at me. This is Google Translate, okay? And this one didn't even get translated that often. I remember because I actually had a different one that the translation just wasn't working, so I substituted it for Lickitung. And I think I put this one, this is probably the one that I put the least through Google Translate. I think this one only went through like 8 or 9 different languages to get to this point. So, I don't know. Okay, so the next one it is. What version of Dex entries did you base things off, actually? I just went to the Pokemon website. And if a Pokemon translation wasn't working with one Dex entry, yeah, they changed. So if a Pokemon translation wasn't working with one Dex entry, I used the other one. I would just base it off of like what the translations would be. Like if the translation was like not translating properly, because that did happen, there were at least 5 or 6 Pokemon that I had originally in the list. The translation just wasn't going. Like it basically remained the same, bar like 1 or 2 words. So I scrapped those and chose other ones. And by chose, I mean randomizer picked other ones. Except for 2 of them, which are this one and the next one, which those 2 I picked myself because I thought they would make good translations. So the next one is, this is known as Source of Craving, a bed under the sea to measure the world. Getting late. Yeah, that is true. Well, you only got this one and 2 more left, so we'll see. Do you need help with this one, or do you think you can manage on your own? This is known as the Source of Craving, a bed under the sea to measure the world. Help, it is not B. That should make it easy enough. Think of Pokemon lore. Think of Pokemon lore. I know from nothing. Well, who lives under the sea? Or other bodies of water? Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah. Oh, we got a 50-50 split. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do the following because I feel bad for you and I would like you guys to have another spin. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to give you another spin, okay? I always follow. Sorry, I'm cooking. Both of the answers you chose are incorrect. The actual answer is D. Okay? So what I'm gonna do is the following. I am going to give you 2 points if you get at least one of the next 2 questions correct. Okay? These are the last 2. If you get one of them correct, I will give you 2 points. And that makes you be able to spin the wheel. Come here, Google Translate. We need to talk. Yeah, Google Translate be crazy, dude. Google Translate be absolutely crazy. So, with that said, the next one is, for some reason, only women come. This will be the last possession of the children of Sarandar's life. It got real dark real fast. I will give you 2 points if you get if you get this one or the next one correct. For some reason, only women come. This will be the last possession of the children of Sarandar's life. Do you need help? Or are we good? Do you have an idea of what this could be? Help. Okay, it is... let's see here. It is not A. I'll let you pick between the others. Starting the poll. Just remember, for some reason, only women come. AKA, there are only women. So, I will let you mull on that. The next one's funny though, and this motorbike is really loud. Also, Jasmine is clawing at my curtains. Honey, please don't destroy my curtains. That's not food. Oh! We have a 50-50, and also for some reason my music stopped. Okay. Okay, now because, well, one only evolve it's a female, so I'm going off that. Okay. It's a 50-50 split, and because I did say that I would give 2 points if you got the answer correct, I will compromise, and I will give you guys 1 point, because one of you chose the right answer. I'll compromise. Okay? Because I feel sorry for the amount of times that you guys have had wrong answers. Maybe I made this trivia night a little bit too complicated. Okay. This is the final question. Okay? If even one of you gets this one correct, I will give you the point. This is stress night. If one of you gets this correct, I will give you the point. While some taught, you said if correct, 2 points. Yes, if the correct answer, but you guys didn't both do the correct answer, so you get 1 point. I changed the rules for you to get a point. Don't come sassing at me now, okay? You got a 50-50 split before, so I also 50-50 split the points. Are we complaining that I am being kind about this? Are we? You still get 2 points if you get the correct answer. Okay? But if it's a 50-50 split again, I'll only give you 1 point, which regardless of what happens, will allow you to spin the wheel. So while some thought the game plan was based on the city's Pokemon, the students disagree about whether or not Training Ground was a real mutant. I am going to remove C. I will give you 1 point if it's a split answer, and one of the split answers is correct. I will give you 2 points if you both agree on the answer. If everyone agrees on the answer, I'll give you 2 points. If only one of you agrees on the answer, I'll give you 1 point. There's only 2 of you voting anyway, so. I've removed C, so it's gotta be A, B, or D. Which one translated into being a real mutant? It's the X-Men now. I removed the obvious potential answer, so. You're guessing? It is a guessing game. Okay. We have a winning answer, and that answer is A. Do you guys have the correct answer? For 2 points. Yes, you do. We're spinning the wheel, guys. You made it to 16. I was being kind to you. Maybe I did make these questions too hard. Arcane for the win. All right. So I guess we're spinning the wheel. Are you guys ready? I am not. I was like, I will only follow for this one. Okay. Let's see what we get. Also, we could not lose since Sasha said if you both agree on the answer, and we agreed didn't say how to be the right answer. Spin again? Yeah? I mean, okay, so you could choose next stream to have 2 hours of double speed, or I can spin again. Up to you. Up to you. You can have 2 hours of double speed, or I can spin again. 1 hour is good enough? Okay. Don't regret it. Or I will regret it. I have to draw a random Pokemon. Okay, guys. So I have been spared of exercise this round of trivia. No exercise. I get to be a couch potato. No exercise. I get to be a couch potato. No exercise. I get to be a couch potato. Oh my god. I don't have to do push-ups. I don't have to ride a bike. Oh my gosh. I was too tired to get that done, okay? I am too tired to do that. Okay, so now the question is, do I draw the Pokemon right now? Because we've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. Do I draw the Pokemon right now, or do I draw the Pokemon at the start of Monday's stream? Dance as hard as if you would lose calories from driving a bike. From riding a bike, you mean? Dance, dance now everybody. Move, move now everybody. Everybody dance now. Boom, 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 boom. That's up to you. Actually, no, it isn't. You guys won the prize, so you guys get to decide. Do you want to watch me struggle drawing a Pokemon while tired? After 3.5 hours of stream almost? Or do you want to watch me struggle drawing a Pokemon while tired before I start streaming again? It's up to you. But a half hour longer and you were doing shorter streams. Yes, with the little note that says, except the birthday stream. And I'll sleep in tomorrow till like 2 p.m., so no worries. Don't want you to overdo it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even tell you the poop story with all of this. I'll hold on to that one for Monday's stream. I'll hold on to the poop story for Monday's stream, because holy crap. That was something. Yeah, so maybe we'll draw the Pokemon like at the start of Monday's stream, because I'm honestly really, really tired. So we'll draw the Pokemon at the start of Monday's stream. And yeah, that's gonna be my birthday gift to y'all. Because my birthday is Sunday. So Monday is like my post-birthday stream. Yeah, take care of yourself, cutie. No. No. You cannot do this to me. It is almost midnight for me. And I had to carry very heavy boxes at work today. Harry Pete. I mean, I have a lot of hair. Like, a lot of hair. Like, you don't even see half of my hair. Like, there's a mop on the back as well. My hair's not doing good today, guys. It's being bad. It's being really bad. Okay. I'm gonna add drawing a Pokemon to Monday's stream, because I am too tired to function, so. Random Pokemon. Okay. Tiny Mop. No, I'm pretty sure we had that already when I did the thing with my hair upside down pretending to be a mop, so I think we already have that one. I think. I think that one's already on the list. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys on full screen. And actually, I'm gonna put you guys here because of the final slide. Thank you for joining my Pokemon Trivia Night. I hope you enjoyed it. That was tonight. In here? Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. That was the final slide. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's trivia night, I I can make more for a different time. I don't know, like Christmas or something, like the streams before Christmas or something. Like, completely up to you guys if you want me to make more, or if this was just so many questions that you just want me to mess around, like switcheroo the positioning of the questions and try this again. Also up to you. And now I'll put you on full screen. Hi. It's me. Yeah, so like totally up to you what you want to do. If you want me to make more trivia nights like this, if you had fun, then we can do that. If you want me to find a different like trivia like kind of situation where instead of maybe translating an entire Pokédex entry, I just translate the Pokemon's name or something like that, because Pokemon names are translatable on Google Translate. You just have to put them through the translator like 40 times and something weird will come out of it, okay? It is how we got Porygon Z to be named Training Ground. So, if you like that idea, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Just let me know. Just whatever it is, let me know. Not setting anything in stone now. No, I think you guys thought that the first couple of questions we did for my Twitch anniversary were maybe too easy. And then you overestimated how easy today would be. And you shouldn't have done that. Because had we done all 65 questions then, you would have had these exact questions then too. I want more quiz evenings. Okay. I can think about that. I can think about that. Now, I have a bike here. I'm gonna just show you the bike, okay? Because I have the bike here. So I'm gonna show you guys the bike. I'm gonna show you guys what you've missed and what you might be getting soon. This is the bike. It's a standing bike. Okay? I will sit on the bike. I have pedals, which will not be shown on stream, ever. And then I can just pedal. I like that shirt, it looks comfortable. It's incredibly comfortable. Also, I can actually do this. Oh. Or just do this. So that you guys can hear me better, but I will have to hold it with my hands. So, this is a thing that I have in my house. You could have gotten this. Yeah, it's fixed, it's fixed. Like, even if I drop it, like, the cable won't let it. It'll just flip down. Actually, this is pretty stable. Anyway. I'm gonna get off this thing now. Okay. Also, my cats do really like that bike, especially Jasmine. She freaking loves that bike, okay? She will stand on that bike like that bike is her property, okay? That stretch. Stretch. So yeah, so this is what you could have gotten for 10 minutes. I just burped again, I'm sorry if you heard that. This is what you could have gotten for 10 minutes. But the wheel didn't land on it. That does not mean that this is the last opportunity and only opportunity that you have gotten to get me on that bike. And I will say no more. I'll be back on Monday, after my birthday, which is on Sunday, at 8:30 p.m. my time, which is 9:30 for most of Europe, should be 12:30 PST, and like 6 or 7:30 a.m. Australia Sydney time. I am gonna go enjoy watching the Little Mermaid on Saturday. I'm gonna enjoy having some great pizza on Sunday. And I'll see you back on Monday. Bye. Have a good one, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for joining me. I hope you liked it. Bye.